I'm sure that you have a lot to share with us tonight, Santos.
Yeah, I would normally, but my I'm not on my computer. Something's happened to it. Skype will not open on it, so I'm on another computer. And that computer, I think, is my laptop now is now officially defunct. So I was preparing. I had a whole bunch of websites and things opened. I've got nothing in front of me at the moment, but I'll go as I can. What I was going to do was point to a website called Before It Is News. Before It Is News posted something about this lunar moon yesterday, which I cannot access now because my computers will not work for some reason, both of them. And but if you want to pull that up, dear friends, you'll find a lot of information about this new moon. It's a solar eclipse. A lunar eclipse will happen in 14 days on the 4th of April because that's Nisan 14. That's supposed to be the full moon. This is the new moon. The new moon blocks out the sun, so it's a solar eclipse. The full moon, the moon is blocked out, so it's a lunar eclipse. And so what is happening tomorrow, why it is so unique, is simple. A lot of people don't understand why is it so unique, why is it so unique. Well, first of all, it's because it's happening on the equinox, and it's pinned to the equinox. The reason being is when the solar calendar and the lunar calendar, they're always dancing together. It's a beautiful dance, sun and moon. Harpocrates is the sun, and moon is mon. And this is where we get the word harmony. Harpocrates and the moon dancing together, harmony. And when they do actually join up together like this, where eclipses occur near the equinoxes, this is truly a sacred moment, okay? We must understand that tomorrow's solar eclipse is from divine calendars of cycles that humans still haven't even got an idea or a glimpse about. Big cycles, massive cycles. It's interesting because in the article of Before It Is News, they explained there that this solar eclipse is 1 in 15 million year occurrence. It's 1 in 500,000 in another aspect. There's two aspects to this solar eclipse. One, it comes around every 15 million years. Another one, it comes around every 500,000 years. And so that's why it's so unique. Now, in the background here, I'm still trying to pull up my my pages that I had. I had quite a few great little pages. I lost everything. That's why... can you hear me still? Everything good?
Everything is
good,
perfect.
Santos.
Okay, because I keep getting the hourglass symbol that something in the background is still... I don't know what it is, but something in the background shut down my laptop. Yeah, so... But... So one aspect of it is that it comes around every 15 million years. Another one is that it's every 500,000 years. So this is very important to keep in mind. This is not just every 10 years or so, or every 100 years. This is big, really, really big. Now, I liken it to, and I pin it to December 2012. Now, 3 years ago, we all held our breath and we felt that something major was going to occur at the end of 2012. And it did. Sometimes these things happen above our attention capacity and over the consciousness ability that humans have to perceive changes that are going on in the macrocosm, simply because they're not in tune with their bodies, so they cannot hear what the microcosm is telling them. Whatever happens in the world tomorrow or today for some people, because today it's the 20th for me, whatever happens, it will be reflected in your body. This is why they say to go and meditate. Go and find a quiet, lonely place, your favorite spot in the world. Go there, meditate, enjoy, relax, and contemplate how important this big event is. The reason why I connect it with 2012 is this. There was a 50-year cusp between the ages of Pisces and Aquarius. There always is, 50 years. And so Aquarius began in February of 62. To be exact, 7 a.m. on the 5th of February, 1962. On that particular hour, on that particular day in history, all 7 planets, all of them, visible planets, starting from Saturn, Jupiter, Mars, 3 big boys, Sun and the Moon, Mercury and Venus, were all lined up in Aquarius. And they all rose on the eastern horizon at 7 o'clock in the morning. They all ascended. That's what the ascendant sign is, you see. It's in the east. At the moment that we inquire about a matter, or when a child is born, or a major event occurs, all astrologers want to know what sign is rising, what sign is ascending in the east. Because that sign there that is ascending has much, much power, a lot of power, and it determines the tone and the modality of the day. It determines whether the day will be like a fixed day or a cardinal day or a mutable day, whether it will have fire, earth, air, or water. Whichever one of these modalities or elements will dominate that day. Well, at 7 a.m. 1962, 5th of February, rising were all 7 of the Elohim in the sign of Aquarius, to usher in the beginning of Aquarius and to signal the 50-year cusp ending of Pisces, which concluded exactly 50 years later in 2012. And so what happens now is that most of your astrologers and most of your insiders know and knew that there would be 3 years. There would be a 3-year period of amnesty. Let's call it amnesty. Let's call it forgiveness. A 3-year breathing period whereby all entities, persons, men and women, alive and not alive, such as corporations, have a chance to ponder their future. In these 3 years after 2012, and now especially that we're in the middle of the tetrad moons, the middle is very, very significant, guys. We are right in the middle of 4 blood moons. Blood moons because, for 2 reasons, we have a massive supermoon, and blood moon is because the moon is closest to the Earth's orbit in its elliptical cycle right now. It's only 14 hours away from perigee. 14 hours. So we've caught the moon at a very, very auspicious time. She's going to be big. She's going to be red, and she's going to block out the sun in the northern hemisphere. Now, you need to think about this. At the North Pole, there's going to be a major eclipse, which is very, very rare, extremely rare. This is why I was hoping to have that that site before it is news open. I'm just so disappointed that my computer has just gone all haywire. Maybe it's because I spilt some tea on it this morning. I quickly wiped it, but something's definitely gone wrong here, and I'm just very disappointed and brokenhearted, really brokenhearted. I really had some major, great little juicy things. But anyway, here we go. Okay, I've got it. Here it is, guys. Beforeitisnews.com, prophecy. Beforeitisnews.com/prophecy. I think you'll find it in there anyway. But what I wanted to read to you was about, there's 2 great points that this article made that I'm so thankful for. 2 great points, and we need to bear these in mind, right? First of all, they've got a little graph at the top of the chart of their website there where they show that the destruction of Jerusalem in 71 AD was visited by blood moons. March the 4th, 71 AD, and March the 20th, 71 AD. Now think about those dates, because this year, on the 20th of March, tomorrow, we have a solar eclipse, which is exactly the same that occurred in 71 AD. Exactly the same. On March the 20th, they had a solar eclipse. Now, the funny thing was, it's back to front, but it's the same kind of event. 15 days in between solar and lunar eclipse happened in 71 AD, and the same thing is happening this year, because on the 4th of April, we will have the lunar eclipse. So, basically 2,000 years in between these 2 events. But very, very interesting that the temple was destroyed in 70 AD, and they had their tetrad began then, and the very next year they had the very, very same dates. So something to pay attention to. Keep that in mind. The temple. As you have a temple in your body, so you have a temple without. Temples without, cathedrals and such like, synagogues and temples, these are great Masonic edifices that are built for the betterment of the human spirit. Men and women are supposed to go in these buildings, and they're supposed to be enlightened. Their consciousness is supposed to be expanded. It's supposed to be It's supposed to be elevated and uplifted. You see, you're supposed to go into these buildings and feel a great lifting of your consciousness and a unity with the higher consciousness. You're supposed to lose your individual attitude, your chitter chatter, your monkey chatterbrain, and you're supposed to go into these places and you're supposed to find solace. Look at that word, solace. The soul, the sun, soul of man. Now, most of these temples, because Masons have lost the science of sacred geometry to some extent, you'll find that some of these temples, rather than uplifting you, you go there and you come out of there feeling very depleted. You go there as if something wrong happened. You go and you feel, and I've felt this. I've been to some great cathedrals around the world, and rather than being uplifted, because they're built on ley lines, on lays, and they've been built specifically to do certain things. They don't just put stones together, Masons, and have a celebration that, all the stones happen to fit together nicely, and there's a building, and now we can use it, and it's functional, and its function is purely for a meeting place, etc., etc. They put those stones together to have many, many purposes and many, many meanings. Not only these places for spiritual gathering where we come together and we feel the unity and the love of the higher consciousness coming to us, and we have communion with the great God, the great Spirit. Not only are these buildings built for such purposes, but they are also built to capture energy and redistribute it and generate it as transformers do. Transformers are supposed to transform and, step up or step down electricity. And so this is why we call our buildings cathedrals. You see, cathodes. It comes from cathar, to be pure electricity. It's positive. In fact, no, I think a cathode is negative and anode is positive. So I brought this out before in my presentations. Cathedrals, synagogues, all these come from electrical words. And cathode and cathedral is no exception. So they are supposed to harvest and gather certain energies from the planets, and they are supposed to redistribute them along the ley lines. Now, the reason I'm saying this is because it's very important to understand that when that temple was destroyed, the Romans destroyed the temple in Jerusalem, they destroyed Corinth, they destroyed Alexandria. They made sure they went out and snuffed all of these temples, because temples are reflections of men's bodies, you see. And in so doing, what they did was they snuffed out a portion of the knowledge that came down from the ancients through the mystery schools, a portion of the knowledge that if these mystery schools were to share their knowledge and collaborate, which they did, they were able to have all understanding and all knowledge and all wisdom necessary to be able to know the cycles and work with the beautiful planets, with the eclipses and the blood moons and all of these phenomenal occurrences that are happening around us. You see, the mystery schools, they preserved this ancient wisdom, and they preserved the nature of electricity and the cycles of the these dynamos. Look at the word dyne, D-I-N, adin, dynamo. That's another atomic word if you've been following my atomic series of presentations. Dynamo, dynamic. These dynamos in the heavens have always been harbingers of change, information, knowledge, ascension, consciousness expansion. They are visitors. These are visitations. These are temporary, temporal visitations of great beings passing through our time dimension, time, T-I-N. These are all atomic words. And they are like signposts. Only these signposts really, really speak to the soul and really, really talk to the soul of mankind. So whatever the message is for humanity with these blood moons, dear friends, whatever it is, it will be distilled down to the individual. Each one of us as an individual will simply have to meditate enough to be able to discern what the individual message is for each one of us. Not just as a race. Man is the measure of the universe. What the race needs, so man needs. So if you're looking out there and you're thinking, oh, good, this is going to punish the bad ones, this is going to help the good ones, this is going to do this and that, and whatever is pretended by this ominous event that is occurring before our eyes right now as we speak, rest assured there will be an individual meaning. There will be something for you to do. The hero must be spoken to, but the hero must be listening. He must have his antenna, his receivers ready to receive the information. See, most people, their temples are polluted. Most people are heavily into cuisine. Now, I've pointed out many times that cuisine is probably the nastiest word that you want to eliminate from your vocabulary as soon as possible. Get rid of it. And get rid of anything having to do with cuisine. Unless, of course, it's how to prepare raw food dishes. But they don't really associate the word cuisine with raw food eating and living, which is pure and godly and goodly, simply because they want you to think that we are clever. We're much cleverer than the animals. The animals don't cook. Ha! Stupid animals. We're so smart, we go and torture our food. You know, we get those little carrots and beans and fresh vegetables that have got electric voltage in them, pure electric voltage called enzymes, raw and vibrant and vital and necessary for the human organism. What we do is we go put a pot of water on and we boil those tomatoes for an hour, 2 hours, so we can practice cuisine. So smart we are. See, what happens with cuisine, though, is that when these eclipses come around, you're none the wiser because you're on the yum-yum diet. Oh, spaghetti bolognese. That sauce has been cooking for 2 hours, and that spaghetti, that's full of white shit. It's all dyed, and it's all paste, and it's all going to be feeding the parasites in my intestinal walls, together with the putrid meat that's been there for 30 years. Just acidifying and toxifying the temple. Rest assured, dear friends, mark my words, you will be the saddest living being in history if you don't mark my words. Clean your temples. Clean out your temples. Your temples are filthy, dirty. I can say that for every one of you. Every one of you listening. And myself included. Our temples are putrid. There is so much filth and shit and poo in your body right now while I'm speaking to you. You've got no idea. The parasites, the acid, the mucus. Every time you put a spoonful of cooked food in your mouth, your body has to fight that experience of toxic, unhealthy, dead food. And what it does is it produces mucus in all the body. That's cancer. That's mold. That's a putrid antenna. You're not going to be receiving much in your meditations, guys. Truly, you are not going to be receiving much. So I just thought I'd park there a little bit for 10 minutes and hopefully encourage all of you. I know it's not nice to hear that what you think might be the case is not the case if you've been eating meat and cooked food. It's very, very dangerous practice. The elite know that. The power elite have always known that. And they've always encouraged this cuisine, cooked food culture where you can actually eat tasty food that has no voltage. And you get to die after 60 years of age. Oh, take a pick. You can have cancer, there's heart disease, there's, I don't know, people have got piles these days, they've got diabetes, arthritis. I don't know what any of those things mean. I'll be 52 in 4 days' time. And I'm not I'm not at all exemplary for diet or for living lifestyle at all. Maybe now I am in the last couple of weeks, but all my life I cannot say that I have been an example. To an extent I have. I have avoided immunisations. I didn't immunise my son. He's 22, he's healthy. I avoided cooked food as much as possible and meat all my life. But I still ate meat. I still ate cooked food. I indulged in it, But I can say I am lucky. I've never had diabetes. I've never had any of these things, asthma, any trouble that all of my friends and everyone around me is having. None of it. Absolutely none of it. Because I've always been on guard against my temple. Not perfect, but I have been there watching and guarding. Watching and guarding. Everything I've ever done has been in moderation. Never been a drinker. May have been drunk about 6 or 7 times in my life. Hated it. I have taken all kinds of entheogens and I've never had a problem with entheogens. They have always blessed me and given me great, great gifts. But most important thing of all is to clean that temple. Because what's going on today with the solar eclipse is a major cleaning out of the temple. In the prophecies, in Jeremiah, Isaiah, in the Psalms, in Revelation, it says that the Lord will come with burning fire. Fire is consciousness. And he will cleanse his temple first. First he will go to his people. Who are his people? Well, they are the chosen ones. You see, they're not the captives, and they're not the called. There's three types of people: chosen, called, and captive. We've all been called, rest assured. Everybody on this call is one of the called ones. You are not captive. You cannot be captive. You would not be listening to these words. You wouldn't stand 5 minutes of what I'm saying. You'd be running for the hills. You'd be running to your pedophile pastor at the corner church to say, protect me. Santos bonacci's talking about the devil, astrology and blood moons, and oh, that's from the devil. I'm sure the devil's up there doing that. Please, pastor, help me. Tell me something to comfort me. They'd be running for the hills, rest assured. They'll be not tolerating any of this truthful language. If there is a tetrad, if there is an eclipse, a blood moon, or any phenomena in the heavens, even a minor conjunction of Mars and Venus, or Sun and Mercury, or Saturn and Jupiter, look at these conjunctions, look at them. Always they will be having an effect on your body. Whether it is a electrochemical effect, which that's the only effect it can have because there's only electricity. But what I meant to say is whether it's a psychosomatic effect, or whether it's an emotional, or whether it's physical, spiritual, ethereal, causal, celestial, you will know by being in tune. And how do you be in tune? By cleaning your temple. Now, all of you men listening that are mechanically minded, I'm very mechanical minded. I used to love pulling combustion engines apart when I was a teenager, putting them back together again, making muscle cars. I used to have muscle cars. You know, we used to, bore out the 308 and 327 Chevy engines and, put big Holly carburetors on them, and with massive barrels and all sorts of things. And I used to do all that, and racing and quarter-mile racing and stuff like that. So all of you guys, you know how important it is to keep the motor clean and serviced. Every 5,000 miles, you want to get that oil out, dirty oil, put new oil in, nice filter, clean that motor. You can hear it humming or purring like a kitten. The body must be the same, guys. If you're going to bed with reflux, or heartburn or indigestion, you can't sleep, you're irritable, you're not relaxing, you've got diarrhea or you're constipated, whatever, I don't know, whatever kind of dis-ease you have, rest assured that there is only one way to fix it. And that's the natural road, guys. Natural. Nat is backwards for tan. Tan is the Phoenician goddess, Eve, Venus, whatever you want to call her, Aphrodite, Diana, Demeter, Artemis, Magdalene, Mary, Isis. It's all the same stuff. And so this blood moon, blood is usually... Now notice, remember, the 20th of March, in 2003, that's when they started the Gulf War. In 2013, I think that's when they went into Libya. But the eve of the equinox, 20th of March, has always been a warmongering day. Warmongering. And many wars have begun in Aries because it's the first day of Aries, god of war, Mars, Marshall. And so if you go back in history, you'll find a lot of dates, a lot of wars and revolutions began in either Aries or Scorpio, because both of those signs, March, April, November, December, Aries, Scorpio, are ruled by Mars, the martial one. And so let's have a look at this article now of Before It Is News. So if you go to my, if you can't find that one and you go to my Facebook, the Universal Truth School Facebook page, I posted it today. Okay, I did post this link, and I reckon you will be benefited muchly if you open this link and have a look at it and check out all the other relative links going on with it, because it's very, very educational. So this is what the Jews taught. Our rabbis taught, when the sun is in eclipse. By the way, this is, if you want to find where this is, this information about lunar and solar eclipses, it's in Sukkah 29a. This is a Jewish scripture in the Talmud. It's called Sukkah, S-U-K-K-A-H, 29a. And this is what they say. Our rabbis taught, when the sun is in eclipse, it is a bad omen for idolaters. When the moon is in eclipse, it is a bad omen for Israel. So let's stop there for a minute. No one's going to escape here. Israel, the chosen ones, we, hopefully, are going to be affected by the lunar eclipse in 14 days' time, okay? Nisan 14. The idolaters, supposedly, this is the pagans, the general goy, everyone, will be affected, on the other hand, by the solar eclipse. So both are covered. The moon is the favourite one, the prima donna of the Jews. They are definitely Elohistic, an Elohistic cult which began with the moon. And the Islamists are the same. Ramadan is the sign of Cancer, and Cancer is the sign of fasting and of mourning for the Jews. And you'll find that all of these major festivals happen in the cardinal signs. And so this tetrad of full moons are happening in Aries and Libra. So last year they happened in Aries and Libra. This year, again, of course, in Aries and Libra. But please do not exclude Cancer and Capricorn. These are the 4 cardinal points. And these are the 4 places where all the holy festivals, at least 90% of all the holy festivals along the ecliptic, occur, including Ramadan, Easter, Christmas, Yom Kippur, Festival of Tabernacles, Rosh Hashanah, Passover, all of them. And so that's why it's so important to realize again what these blood moons are. The fact that they're happening on the equinoxes is so unique. There's only been 8 of these in the last 2,000 years, dear friends. And the last 2 that happened occurred relatively close to each other in the 1900s. The first one occurred in 1947, 48, and the second one occurred in 1967 and 68. Now, correct me, don't quote me, they were around about those dates. It might be 66, 67, it might be 69, 70, but it was around that time when the 6-day war of Israel happened. And then, of course, in 1947, when the other tetrad occurred, Israel was founded. So rest assured that something to do with Israel will occur today and in the next 2 weeks. And then, of course, again in September when the last and final of the blood moon occurs at the equinox. This is just amazing, guys. I don't know how you feel about this, but me being an astronomer all my life, musician, theologian, I've always been a philosopher, always been what you see is what you get. Nothing has ever changed. And for me, witnessing this and also the beautiful excitement of the 2004-2012 Venus transit, so that happened. We've got the tetrad blood moons. We've got the 2012 happened. We've got so much happening. I mean, I'm just the hair on the back of my neck is just standing up. I'm just electric, because I know that we are all immortal. Regardless of where you are in your temple and regardless of how much you are advanced in your development and wherever you're going to reincarnate to in the next life, and how impactful today's event is going to be, regardless, you might get not much out of it, you might get a real lot out of it. No need to, be harsh on yourself. No need to be disappointed. No need to be despairing, thinking, oh, my temple must be polluted. I didn't really pick up any thoughts in my meditation. I didn't pick up any changes. Please don't do any of that stuff. There's no time for guilt. There's no time for thinking, am I prepared? Am I ready? Am I good? Am I not? There's no time for that, guys. Just empty yourselves of your thoughts. Empty yourselves of whatever's going on out there in the world. Be informed about the world. There's nothing wrong with that. But as soon as you learn about this or that that's going on the world scene, in the mesocosm, don't be too perturbed or disturbed. It's funny how people, throw their hands up in the air when something happens and just take the calamitous route that it's the end and that it's everything's going to be bad and everything's going to be calamitous. Don't fall into that trap, guys. Nothing is written. Nothing has been written. Nothing is said in concrete that this must happen or that must happen. It's all flexible. And it all depends on you. Throw away the fear. Throw away the fear that anything bad can happen to you. You are immortal. So what? Someone comes along while you're not looking with a gun to the back of your head and puts a hole in your brain. And that particular body that you used for 60 or 70 years is now expired. So what? People get all freaked out about dying, Watch out, they say to me, they're either going to jail you or kill you. They want you out of the system, Santos, they want you dead. Okay, where are they? Bring them here. Kill me, I don't mind, because the soul is immortal. There is no such thing as death. And that's what these major events are teaching us. People, they're there to awaken us, to make us realize that there's bigger things going on around us. We are the world, but the world is us. So if an eclipse is happening, it's happening inside of you, rest assured. And what is happening is your soul and your spirit are now dancing together, because that's what the moon is. Harpocrates and Mona, harmony. They are dancing together, and today is a special dance. And they will dance together in the sky, and that dance will be happening inside of you. It will be a dance. Regardless of how much you feel it, regardless of how much you get out of it. You might be listening to this now thinking, oh, wow, it's going to be momentous. It's going to be climactic. I've got to feel this. Unless I see this and unless I see that, unless it moves me or does something to the world or improves it, I'm not going to participate anymore or whatever, blah, blah, blah. All this talk, just throw away your expectations. But know that these things occur for the betterment and for the advancing of the human race. Nothing is happening out there by the planets to make us worse off. Nothing is there planning against us. Nothing is there trying to thwart our hopes and dreams. Anyway, look, that was a bit of an encouragement toward individual efforts. I'm encouraging the individual here to not be discouraged and not be too overreactive with any of this that's going on. Just work with it, dance with it, play with it. So I'll continue on with the what the rabbis taught about the eclipses. Sorry for departing from that. I do go on tangents. When the moon is in eclipse, it is bad omen for Israel, since Israel reckons by the moon and idolaters by the sun. Yeah, of course, idolaters. Well, the sinners are the moon people, by the way. If you want to know who the sinners are, sin is the moon. So a sinner is anyone who follows the moon. Idolaters, see, this is the thing. There's always been this war, Jupiter against Saturn, Mars against Venus, the sun against the moon. There's always been this playing off, the goodie against the baddie. There's no such thing. So the idolaters, it's easy to work out who the idolaters are. I mean, look at the word idol. Ido, Edom, Adam, the sun. The sun's name is Adam. That's the name of the sun, Adam. Okay? So idolaters definitely are going to be the ones that follow the sun. Matters not. You can follow the sun, you can follow the moon. You will not be considered a sinner or an idolater. These are just words used to play off the different planets and the different cults that have been around, that rather than being at odds with each other, they should have been cooperating with each other. That's what syncretism teaches. So you guys are, first in line to understand the true teaching of being forbearant and tolerant and accepting all of the cycles and all of the planets and all of the archetypes, because they all contribute to the one. They all go back to Adam. All the moon, Jupiter, Saturn, whatever they want to be called, whatever they want to do, they want to be stars of their own show, they all go back to Atum. Okay, continuing on. If the eclipse is in the east, it is a bad omen for those who dwell in the east. If in the west, it is a bad omen for those who dwell in the west. If it is in the midst of heaven, it is a bad omen for the whole world. If its face is red as blood, the sword is coming to the world. If it is like sackcloth, the arrows of famine are coming to the world. If it resembles both, the sword and the arrows of famine are coming to the world. If the eclipse is at sunset, calamity will tarry, it's coming. If at dawn, it hastens on its way. But some say the order is to be reversed. And there is no notion which is smitten that the gods are not smitten together with it, as it is said, and against all the gods of Egypt I will execute judgment. Okay, so this is a very, very Jewish way to have a look at eclipses. Now, Jewish, we must know by now, all the listeners here, if you've been following syncretism, you will definitely know that to be a Jew is not to be a race. You can't. There's no race of Jews. Like there's no race of Christians. They're not. Christians are not Italian, and Muslims are not Arabian or Lebanese. Muslims are people. Christians are people. Jews are people. They're not races. They're people from all the races. And so, what does it mean to describe and explain things in the Jewish mode? Well, it means to explain them with a peculiar kind of language. They have a peculiar language which is peculiar to them. Language, the universe is made by language. It's light, number and letters and numbers, language, words. So all they're doing, the Jews, so-called Jews, is they're using a particular set of words that are different to the particular set of words that the Christians use, and which are different to the particular set of words that the Muslims use, etc., etc. So what they're doing is they're explaining things that would really go missed if you were a churchgoer, or if your exegesis was of the church-going kind. You would think that Israel was a certain group of people that God favours because they are racially superior. No, a Jew is one who is spiritually superior, or at least should be, as the Christian should be. Christians shouldn't be inferior. None of them should be. All of these schools should be churning out superior individuals. They should all be superior. By their fruit you shall recognize them. If their fruits are rotten, the tree's rotten. Simple. See, the Catholic Church is rotten because of all the pedophiles and all the dogma and doctrine and bullshit that they teach. So the tree's rotten, the fruit's rotten. Okay, you might point out to individual Catholic people that are very, very saintly and very kind and goodly people. But even on a rotten tree, there's always a good fruit. You can always, if you look around enough, you'll find a couple of good fruit. And you can eat those fruit on a rotten tree for sure. But the whole tree, 95% of it is producing bad fruit. It has to be chopped down because you can't fix it. And a good tree cannot produce bad fruit. And so the good tree, the tree that we are talking about is our roots. Where are our roots? Are our roots deeply in truth? Are they deeply in wisdom and understanding? Or are they just, just like the goy out there, buying and selling, eating and drinking? Well, they love their cuisine. You see them at the restaurants with fine red wine full of preservatives and all sorts of numbers. Of course, putrid wine, putrid beer, it's all foul. It's all got preservatives and crap and shit and poo in it. And people are drinking it at their restaurants. You see them in the morning having bacon and eggs. Interesting. Chicken period and pig's bum for breakfast. And they're sophisticated. Oh, yeah, that's cuisine. Oh, you can smell the coffee. Oh, coffee. Egg and bacon, everybody. Egg and bacon. $3.60 special with 2 slices of toast. You see them lining up for pig's bum. They all want to nibble on that pig's bum. They all want a pig's ass breakfast. Lovely. Oh, my God. Cuisine. It's called cuisine. Rest assured, people. Rest assured, these people are buying and selling, eating and drinking. As long as the food is yum-yum to the palate, they question it not. Tastes great. Whoop. Chew it 5 or 6 times. Tastes great in the mouth. No questions asked about what happens when it goes down the esophagus. Not a question. They do not inquire about, will that benefit my body? Will it have minerals and voltage? Will I be charged electrically because my body is an electrical organism running on atoms, on pure electrical voltage? Nothing else. Nothing, absolutely nothing else. It's pure electrical generated organism. And when we drink hydrogen, H2O, we're putting the highest spinning atom in our body, hydrogen. The fastest and the purest of all atoms, hydrogen. So drink water. And you'll get oxygen in there too. The air, 78% nitrogen. See, when you breathe air properly, breathe in deep, what you're doing is you're breathing in nitrogen. You're drinking hydrogen and oxygen, and these are electrical voltage, dear friends. You're charging your body with electrical voltage. So why would you put cooked food in your body? When the word itself tells you it's cooked. It's gone, it's over, it's finished, it's cooked. It's dead, it's cooked, finished, dead, and it stinks. No matter what you do to food with ointments and condiments and salt and spices, and no matter what you do to cook food, no matter what you do, man, you cannot hide that stench. It's always there in the background, and it will bring mold and mucus to your body, and that is cancer, and you will die because, well, yum yum, my palate's happy. So this is what it means, the difference to be of what a Jew would explain to be the difference of a Jew and a goy. That's what it means. The Jew is evolved spiritually. He is a called one. Not necessarily chosen. The Hebrews are chosen. And the Telestoi, that's another caste above the Jew. The Jew is the middle caste. It's the middle caste. But we have to make middle before we get to the top. This is why Jesus of the Sacred Heart is always pointing to his heart, because Jesus is a Jew, you see. And a Jew is always the middle caste. The heart chakra is in the middle. That's where the Jew is. The Jew of the lion of the tribe of Judah. The lion is Leo. It's in the heart chakra, the thymus gland. That's the Jew. The Hebrew is hiding behind your eyebrow. Your eyebrow, Hebrew. And that's the crown chakra. You see? And the higher chakras, those are the Hebrews. Hebrew harks back to hero and Hiram. And all of that, cerebram and all of those words. That's the Hebrew. And we're all going through that path because we will all be chosen. We are of the chosen. Whether it is now or whether it is tomorrow, but we are of that caste. Simply because we're here. We have arrived. You know, we've arrived at this point where we can bear to listen to this truth, which means that we're ready. And we're all ready at different levels and different stages. We all bring different things. So this blood moon will definitely mean similar things for all of us, but will also mean different things for each individual. Now, just one more thing before I wrap it up there, is that regardless, there will be some great and wonderful things coming to us, dear friends, through this these blood moons, but there will also be some grave things, okay? And that's part and parcel of the dualistic world that we still live in. Until that dualism is snuffed out by critical mass consciousness, which I'm hoping is going to arrive today or in the next 2 weeks, or hopefully before the final tetrad blood moon. What my hope is, and I've always lived in this hope, is that all of humanity will awaken and just see the light, be blessed by it, and realize that we are all connected to the one same causal soul, oversoul, the Paramatma, Amitabha, Atum, Adam, whatever you want to call it. We are all connected and part of that. We're all droplets of light from that one causal fountain of light. And we are all individuals, and we get to keep our individuality and our spiritual atoms that we've collected along the way, so long as that we are always improving, so long as that we are always standing upright. Come what may with this blood moon, as we just read, you know, blood moon, if it's red, it means war. It means there will be bloodshed. Well, maybe look, don't fear. If there is a war, let it go. Let it be. Because rest assured, all those ones that are out there killing are not you and I. And they have decided to join an army, and they've made a decision in their own full, mature, and conscious capacity to join an army and to go and kill. Which means they probably themselves will get themselves killed or will kill other individuals. And those ones that are being killed, they're being killed because they need to be killed. Yeah. In the overall scheme of things, they're going to get themselves killed is because it had to happen. Because it was necessary. Because it was a loving part of their development that they needed to experience. They may need to experience that brutal, murderous feeling of being butchered and shot at and being killed by enemies, you know, with their machines coming down on you and then plunging knives into your heart and into your neck and into your back and then shooting you at point-blank range and then moving on to kill other people as they believe that they are fighting for their countries and, you know, they are doing something heroic and noble to defend their women and children back home and blah, 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 and all of that talk, that mind control talk that causes these young men to go off into war and shed blood. Let them go. Whatever happens in the world, whatever disasters and calamities come, tsunamis and whatever, let them engulf millions of people or thousands of people. They will never die anyway. And their souls immediately will get to choose and go to another place. If for better, well, good on them. If for worse, well, bad luck. It's not my fault that they wanted to, join the Jehovah's Witnesses and kill Mormons because their Jesus is different to the Jehovah's Witness Jesus. I didn't tell them to go and do that. So, if they reincarnate in a horrible, horrible place, what's it to you? Sure, it's sad. It's sad that people are suffering. It's sad that there's any kind of suffering in the universe. But until such time as you can control it all, I wouldn't let it be worrying me. You see, I've had to learn this, dear friends. I've had to learn how to just let go of the fools that don't want the lifeline. They don't want the lifeline. Some people find themselves in the cold, deep, shark-infested waters of a shipwreck, and they will not reach out to grab the lifeline or the lifeboat. They'll say, great, this is an opportunity to get the hell out of here. And down they go. They drown themselves. They don't take the lifeline. Many times people refuse to take the lifeline. They just refuse to. So learn how to, have the lifeline there ready for the world, for your cousins and relatives, mother, brother, sister, friends. Have it there. But most of them are not going to reach out for it. So just turn around and keep your gifts to yourself. Keep your love. Do not suffer. Do never suffer depression. Friends, I'd like to finish with this one thought. Just try not to suffer depression. Keep your chin up and remember that your oversoul is eternal and immortal. All right, guys, thanks.
Thank you, Santos. Wonderful. Yes, very, very true indeed, all the words you have shared with us. Yes, many of them are very hard to swallow, but indeed, truth is hard. It's hard at times, but here we are. We came here to learn and to make our own souls, our own spirit. Right, Joseph? I don't know. Santos, are you going to be receiving questions?
May as well, yeah, we may as well. Why not? Might be some good points out there that some friends have got, and we can learn a lot more. So add to whatever has been. That would be handy. If there's anyone there that has more to add that I haven't touched on, I'm really... today's show has been very disappointing for me. At the same time, though, I've enjoyed what I've been able to present. I had PowerPoint presentations. I had a lot of things, a lot of good little things prepared, little tidbits and that, but my laptop just will not respond. I'm a little bit worried now, but never mind. If anyone else has got some good points, please share them with us. Come forward and we'll discuss them.
Right. Okay, friends, if anyone wishes to call by phone, you can do by calling 1971 533 7838, or you can call using Skype. To do so, you need to go to our website, astrotheologyradio.com. There is a very big slider there you can see. You can click there and go to the page where you can click an icon that will prompt a call to us here via Skype. Or you can call us using your mobile phone or landline. Or you can write your questions right here at the chat room, which I see is quite busy. So, question times, friends. Who is going to be the first? Joseph, do you have any questions?
From the chat, and I must say, Santos, electrifying presentation. The chat room was totally blowing up while you were speaking. regarding the questions, we did have one about the animal byproducts such as eggs, and you answered that quite well, I think. If you'd like to touch on anything else regarding animal byproducts.
Yeah, look, I would be avoiding them simply from the philosophical stance, guys. All you guys are good enough to join this call and want to expand your consciousness. You're here because you want to improve. There's obviously most of you for sure would be of the kind that are just receptive to all the most beautiful things that you could possibly learn and apply in your life for the betterment of yourselves and the rest of humanity. I would be really, really, really kind to the animals and try to avoid any animal products at all, unless, unless there's a reason why you need those things. Sometimes raw eggs are very, very beneficial. Some people are taking many raw eggs a day for the goodness that they have in them. And, if those chickens are... here on the farm where I'm staying, we have about 100 chickens, and they're all they've all been fed activated grains and activated food and organic food. They roam around freely, and so the guys here eat the eggs here and sell the eggs. Eggs like that would be great, But what I'm talking about when I was back there talking about the culture of cuisine that we have, where people think bacon and eggs is... Those eggs come from battery hens. They are tortured, man. Those hens have been injected with all kinds of poisons. They are tortured animals. They are suffering so much. So there's a lot of animal products that we use. In perfumes, there's animal products. Some women like to wear, coats that are made from mint and whatever, Anything like that, we should philosophically stand against. And we should say, no. And probably just, if you've got a goat and you have goat milk, or you've got a beehive and you have honey, stuff like that, that would be acceptable to most people. I don't know. There's vegans out there who say, no, nothing at all, nothing at all, nothing at all. I'm not like that. I'm not going to be a Nazi to myself and, be excessively rigid. At the same time, I do not want to play. I'm not here to muck around. I'm serious. So, I might have a teaspoon of honey here and there. We make the honey here. We've got boxes and boxes of beehives down the bottom of the block. We've got everything. We've got all kinds of food here growing. It's all natural. And the point is this. Porphyry and Plutarch 2,000 years ago said, if an animal were able to speak to humans, it would say, "Why, fool, are you killing me when you cannot digest or use any of my body? And when you have an abundance of fruits, you have bananas and apples and cherries and strawberries and grains and nuts and seeds and vegetables. There's just an endless array of vegetables and fruits. It's just an intoxicating, endless array. Why does blood need to be shed? Why do animals need to be caged and hurt and provoked and jabbed and stabbed and controlled and utilized? Why? Why can't they just be born and live free, come and go without our interference? Why do we have to interfere with everything with our stupid intelligence that we have? So, we could all take a stance. No need to be rigid and fascist about it. If you like your eggs, good on you. They're raw or whatever. I wouldn't cook them because, again, they've lost all their voltage. So if you're going to have those nice raw vegetables, just remember, though, philosophically again, it is an embryo. You are actually eating a fetus when you eat the egg. So there's a lot to consider, guys, but you'll have to just go conscientiously, individually about these matters. We can only give loving advice and guidelines to our brothers and sisters. None of us, I'm not an expert in anything. So, I'm just offering the best information as I know it is, because because my research is on the back of the best researchers. I don't muck around. I've allowed myself to give all the great geniuses and experts and true masters of their subject. I've spent plenty of time allowing them to instruct me and guide me and help me, and I have been helped. So we can all offer advice and information because we've all applied it and benefited from it, but there's no use being too fascist about it. And again, I say, if anyone is practicing bad eating habits, take your time, but at the same time, don't play around. It's a serious game. The more you get rid of mucus, because cooked food, that's all it does, makes mucus. The moment you put it in your mouth, mucus. If you want to get rid of it, you need to go on raw food for 2 months. Your body will be totally free of mucus. Totally. Raw food for 2 months. And you won't see cancer, you won't see any of those diseases at all. You will die of old age. What you will die of is the natural reason to die, and that is dehydration. Your body stops, your organs are not able to hydrate anymore because the cerebrospinal fluid called the chrism, has dried out. And men, how you dry that out is through unhealthy sexual practices, which is purely lustful physical sex. If you continue practicing such sex, you will dehydrate and die sooner than others. The men who have soft, oily, and plump, fresh-looking skin, in their 80s and 90s, and these are the ones you can tell. These are the ones that have perhaps through natural practices, or perhaps just naturally or deliberately they have practiced a better kind of a sex. I don't know, or maybe they've had less of the physical sex and they've retained their oils, their cerebrospinal fluids. Hence, they are more moist and supple and live longer. But rest assured, those old people that are withering and growing old and dying, that's natural, that's dehydration. And that's the only reason why you should die, by natural dehydration. You shouldn't get cancer and heart disease or any of those things. Again, unless those things, some kind of nasty accident has happened to you maybe, or the birth chart, there's something really, really heavily negative in your chart which will cause some condition like spinal weakness or nerve weakness or something like that. Again, that can be rectified. All things can be healed. All right, so there's that.
Thank you. That was very important.
Answer that question.
Sorry, Joseph.
No problem. You ask Santos a question and you get your answer and then some. We have a couple more questions from the chat room, but you mentioned something interesting at the end of this talk, which had to do with depression. And I'll have to admit, I've felt I'm pretty sensitive to negative energy. And I'm just wondering how you've dealt with it over the past year or so. You've had a pretty intense year. How have you dealt with all that negative energy?
Well, I can tell you how I have dealt badly with it, and I can tell you how I've dealt well with it. I'm not at all... I've learnt a lot from my experiences, and I haven't done everything the right way. And I have been depressed, and I have lived in fear and anxiety. And that's why I say that. Don't let that happen. We are much bigger and better than these events that are happening to us. All these events that are happening to us, we have invited ourselves into our own lives, rest assured. Okay, whatever happened to me in the last year, I've had a terrible year. I instigated and invited myself all by myself. Okay? And so you reap what you sow. And, I have not been a good example at all. And the reason I'm saying that is because I know that. I've not been a good example. I have not reacted well with criticism. I've been criticised. Of course, you're going to be criticised when you've had, 60 million, 100 million hits on the internet with your presentations in 4 different languages. Of course you are. Of course there's going to be people out there who's going to say Santos is this, that and the other and whatever. And you'll see those sites on the internet where, they're having a go because they can. They see me in a situation that is not the best. And so what do jackals and hyenas and parasites do? They gather around when they see a carcass, right? When they see someone's down, they jump on and throw on more sticks and stones, don't they? They have a kick and a jab and a stab because they're cowards. You see all the cowards come out now, and so in one way it's been good because I've been able to see who the cowards are and who that I put a little bit of trust in who didn't deserve that trust and who grabbed a bit of my trust that didn't really deserve it. Or, they didn't deserve to know syncretism. They didn't appreciate it and accept it the way they should have. But the reason I'm saying this is because I've always had the support, good people like you on this call. And I always get many, 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 many emails every day. Facebook, Skype, FaceUni, emails. Hundreds of people from all around the planet telling me how much they appreciate syncretism and how much it has done for them, changed their lives and helped them to be the great philosophers of wisdom that they are now. Made plenty of advancement in their lives, changed their eating habits, been able to meditate. They've had Kundalini experiences. I've had people come to me telling me that their whole lives have been transformed because of my syncretism. So I've been very, very lucky. This has kept me sane. This is what's brought me back to do radio shows because I was determined to, just to disappear and enjoy my own life. I thought I would do that, but that didn't work. I couldn't do that. So I'm back. I realised that, even if I did do that, my enemies would still be rejoicing. So if they are rejoicing, well, let the good people rejoice at the same time too. So that's why I'm putting out more information, more and more better syncretism as I go, because that will help the world. It will help me, and it will help the world. And so that's why I say don't be depressed because I've done it. Don't be fearful because I've lived in fear. And I've got plenty of fear still, rest assured. There's plenty of bliss in my life, but there's plenty of fear too. Okay?
Yes, hello.
We love you, Santos. I am so grateful for everything that you have done. You have no idea how much you have helped me, actually. Because, like you also have suffered from, all of us have our own challenges in life. Depression, anxiety, fear of all kinds. And yes, syncretism, which I have embraced long ago, actually, kind of, truth, oneness, that everything comes from one source. I have been embracing this for quite a few years, and coming across with you, it really, I haven't lived for this, to embrace it and to share it, or to assist in the process of sharing. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. I'm so glad to hear that you decided, something that I know already, to continue assisting us. And really, thank you. Right.
Yeah.
There's no words, Santos, that can express the gratitude that I feel for all the work that you've put out there. It's helped tremendously with me. Like I said, there's no words that I can use to describe that feeling. And if you were in the chat room right now, you would see all the support that, people are just thanking you from the bottom of their heart for everything you've done. And, that's all I have to say about that, man. Thanks, brother.
Yeah. Thanks, Joseph.
Thank you. Right. We have someone in the group call. Someone is calling. Hello. Hi. Please, can you say your name? Hello,
Yes, hello.
Hi there. You are the only person in the queue calling with a mobile?
Yes, hello.
Hi, what's your name?
Yes, my name's Troy. I'm calling from Missouri.
Please go ahead
America.
with your question to Santos.
Yeah, actually, I don't have a question tonight. I rather have something that I would like to share regarding the previous episodes of the Tom and Dom and the Tomb, and I came across something in an old book that I've been kind of reading, here and there over the past few months, but it's called, I'm sure Santos has been, he's probably flipped through it, but it's called Ancient Egypt, Light of the World, and in it, about a quarter of the way through, the author is talking about the Tom and the Tomb, and I just wanted to know if we had a second to maybe read about a paragraph. Is that okay?
For sure.
Okay. Well, I'd like to start here. It goes, the name totem, now they're drawing it off of, like totem as in like a totem pole. But the name totem, I'm quoting the book now, is supposed to have originated in the language of North American Indians. The word, let's see, it can be, let's see, spelled Odatum or Odadam, or Otim, like the Algonquin language, for my tribe, and Kit Totem for thy tribe. The root of the word, as here rendered, is Tim or Dim. The name and things thus denoted are found to be universal for a group, a gathering, a collection, a total of persons, animals, huts, or houses. The Megar Thum that's spelled Thum, is a clan, of which there were 12 altogether. Now, the Attic township was called a Dim, D-E-M. The Sanskrit Dhamma is the home, the Greek domos, the Latin domus, Slavonic domu, and the English dome. The dome is the roof I can't really pronounce this. But let's see, in Maori, the dim, or the tum mini, is a collection of people. And I'm going to wrap this up here. Let's see here. Now, Tom, T-O-M, in the Coptic, signified joining together, as in the Tim. The word T-E-M has various applications in Egyptian. It signifies man, mankind, mortals, also to unite, be entire or perfect. Moreover, it is a name for those who are created persons, as in the young man making, like puberty rites of passage. As in making the young men and young women in the totemic ceremonies, of which, let's see here, if ever the word created could properly be applied to the making of men and to those who were grouped together, it is in totemism. In Egyptian, Tim, or Tim T, is not only a total and to be totaled. The sign of the Tim in the hieroglyphics is the figure of a total composed of two halves, kind of like a circle with a cross in it. Thus, the Tim is one with the total, and the total comprised two halves at the very point of bifurcation and dividing the whole into two. So, what I'm getting out of this is either a unity or a grouping as a whole, or like a family unit. But I'm in my mind, it all kind of goes back to the subject at hand, the tom and the tomb and the womb. It all seems to kind of go back to all that. But instead of boring everybody with reading, I would just like to plug the book, and that's Ancient Egypt, Light of the World. If you want to read more about that, it's on Google Play for free, so go ahead and grab that. It's a long, tedious book, but anybody can pick it up and learn a great deal. So I didn't mean to bore everybody with that, but thanks.
What's the author's name of the book there, please?
I didn't hear you.
The author's name?
The author?
Yeah.
That is Gerald Massey, if I'm correct. If I remember correctly.
Sure.
Let me... yeah, that's Gerald Massey, Ancient Egypt, Light of the World. He also has another, I think it's actually Volume 2. I'm thinking it's in the series, and it's called Natural Genesis, Book of Beginnings. And I'm in the process kind of tossing those kind of back and forth in reading. So, but they're... oh boy, they're just a storehouse of information. And Gerald Massey's been one writer that I can follow, and he has a great way of writing, and it sticks with a person, you know. So, but yeah, anybody can check that out, Google Play or any of those services. I'm sure you can find it.
Well, what you read out was absolutely just amazing and invaluable. That was fantastic. Is there any way you can paste and copy that and send it to me, or send me the page for that? I want to get that information because there were some great tidbits in there, please.
Oh, without a doubt. Is there a good way to send that to you? How would I go about that?
You can send it. There's an email at my Universal Truth School website. Okay. That's my website, universaltruthschool.com. 3 words, Universal Truth School, all in one.com, and that's my main contact.
Awesome. Well, I will get back. I'll definitely do that. And all
right, and
I'll get that to you.
Okay, well, I would just like to add to what you said because what you said, and I'm glad you came on, really, brother, just absolutely amazing to know that Gerald Massey was right on this subject of atomic language, and he noticed that Tom and Doms and Tamils and all of that, he noticed 200 years ago, great English scholar, that the atomic language is the true Egyptian, English, Sumerian language. And those words, you see, these great men, why they were great was because they they saw language as not separate. You see, it's like music.
Yeah.
You know, on one continent they use certain scales, on another continent they use different scales, but it's still the same notes. It's still music. It's still the same frequencies.
Sure.
So so Gerald Massey was great like that because he was able to see words as not, you know, if an English word is not just English. You know, it's also shared by
of course.
Other cultures.
Oh, of course.
And so,
it's been modified. It's been it's got a whole. Every word has a history.
Yeah. And that was a choice bit of stuff that you read, brother. Please send it forward to me, and I'll share that with folks too on my. I'll share that around and how to get to that information.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, awesome. All right, well, thanks.
Thank you a million. Please, dear friends, any gems like this, any gems like that one, please bring them forward. This is this station and show that I'm doing here is a platform for higher learning. Throw the questions in, throw the information in. I would like to use this as a place where people who are interested in learning the deepest and the most profound truths to come to.
Oh, perfect.
Beautiful.
So, let me get off here, and good show, and I'll be listening.
Thank you. Thank you for joining.
Oh, okay, thanks. Goodbye.
Actually, friends, we have a new platform for Santos, and for any of you out there who has something positive to share with the world, with us, with those who are paying attention. The new platform is for sharing videos, PowerPoint, any of those materials for teaching. So hopefully Santos and Sunday you can use it if you're ready for it. If you have any material that you want to be sharing with us, like PowerPoint or graphics or any kind, we all can be in one room seeing the presentation. It's a presentation platform. So
Okie dokie, let's have a go.
Yes, so there you are. Yes, well, Santos has said very often, many times, that syncretism is here to stay. And of course, it has to stay. What else? But unifying truth in one, coming all together. That is what is for us, friends. So, Joseph, some more questions? Santos, what do you think, if any?
There was just one last one. I don't want to forget her. It was from Kamla. This one's not really regarding the vernal equinox, but everyone is talking about intention and what is the best way to set intention. That's from Kamla KD.
Yeah, well, look, again, that's something that each one does of their own way and style. Perhaps give attention to meditation and ceremony. Make a ceremony out of it, I guess. You know what I mean? Go out today, give yourself a couple of hours, and say, right, I'm going to go down by the river to my favourite spot. I'm going to bring a book of meditation, a prayer book or something, or inspirational book. I'm going to bring some light food, and I'll spend 20 minutes on breathing and going within and finding my true soulmate inside of me, which is really your higher self, and God, whatever. You will. What you will do is if you just spend 5 minutes and totally withdrawing from the noise, you will find your God. You will find your godship of your higher being. You'll find it. It's beautiful, it's scary, it's wonderful, it's daunting, it's magnificent, it's necessary. It must be done. Meditation must be done. So to set your intention, I guess, put it this way, right? We're like little children. You see little children, they're intent to do something, right? But then something comes along and distracts them, and all of a sudden they're off it and they're on a new fad. They don't like that old toy anymore. They're not intent with it anymore. They've changed. All of a sudden, children, they get distracted, you know. One day it's, oh, I've got to do this, Mum. No, the whole world depends on this. You have to help me, Mum. You know, they get so drastic and cry and have a fit because their intent is on this one thing. The next day, totally they're on another different thing, you know. So the reason I'm saying this is because to set an intent, well, how much preparation do you put into it? So the more you put energy into this intent, the more you focus on it, the more you plan, the more you give to it in your ceremony, the more energy you give it, and attention and focus, planning, etc. Well, the more will come out of that intent. You know, so what can I say? I mean, I don't know. The things that I've intended to do come from my heart, and I've set my intent, and daily I live by that intent, you know. So it's a daily thing. So my intent can never be corrupted because daily I invest into it. So there you go. Just try some ceremonial things. Try some crystals, some herbs, some white sage, some purifying. Try a few things. Grab some bells. Grab some of those Buddhist bells where you get a little donga and you just hit it and it just ding. And that sound, that's God. Those bells, man, those bells have been made specifically to help you meditate. You know, buy some of those Japanese bells. For $30 you can get a good little gong and you just go ding and you hear all those harmonies. That might be your way to finding God. I've done it through sound. Sound has helped me. I've been a musician all my life, you know, and sound and light has done marvels for me. So to set your intent, do a bit of that ritual ceremony, guys. Get some candles, some sage, some crystals. Get your favourite crystal out. Get a gong. Make some sound. I don't know. You might want to take an entheogen. That might help, etc., etc.
That was good answer, Santos. Definitely intention is focusing on your thoughts and bringing them into action for sure. A couple of guys are wondering why they decided to activate CERN during this time frame. I think it was asked on the last presentation you did here. But again, the question's being asked about CERN and your thoughts why they're starting it up this time of year.
Yeah, funny one with CERN. You've got to wonder. The people behind it are the power elite. And the power elite are interested just in their little Ponzi schemes and scams and how to get money from the public, from their sweat equity, you know. So CERN is a big scam on one level. On another level, it's a ritualistic thing. They do this to mind control the world, you know, to indicate to the world that this is where man's technology has come. We've come to this point where we can do such powerful things. So they want to portray this great scientific achievement that we have, that we're on the verge of great discoveries, and so that man can keep giving them attention and money. On another level, what they're doing, they're trying to open up their own portals. They think they have the power of God with these particles, etc., that they're chasing around to create matter and to start off on their own God trip, you know, so that they can bring power to themselves. If they were good people and if they had really, really good intents, intents and purposes, they would not be advertising and promoting their little CERN business the way they are at all. It's very presumptuous. It's very costly. It's very left-brain technological. It does not consider nature and the environment. It's not symbiotic with the nature and the environment. It's a very harmful and dangerous way of practicing science, and it's clueless. These guys are clueless. What it is they are also showing. This is the most important thing that they are doing with CERN, guys. Don't fall into this trap. What they're doing is showing you that technology outside of you and man thinking is the answer. Man thinking is the answer to war and bloodshed and disunity and corruption and perversity and hatred and perpetual suffering. That's what it is. Men thinking can only produce that. Technology can only produce that. Yes, it's handy to have a hammer in one hand and a saw in another hand, but there are still better ways of building. There's still better ways of doing. Man and his thinking has only introduced suffering into the world. Yes, he might produce a shortcut here. Washing machines certainly do save time. If you have to go out shopping, you put the washing on, come back and it's done. Right. Very, very clever. But there's still suffering behind that, guys, because the technology is harmful. The concept of saving time is also harmful, because we could, instead of building machines that do the washing, we could learn of ways of cleaning our clothes without having to do that. And there are many ways to do that, And so what they're doing is they're setting the mind condition of humanity to think one thought, and that thought is, you will find the answers outside of you. Perhaps your pastor, perhaps your scientist, perhaps your politician. But whatever you do not inquire within. Shh. That's what the silly spiritualists are doing, and the hippies and the alternative crowd. Oh, how funny they look. Oh, don't you go meditating and practicing yoga, and don't you go inquiring within for the answers. No. Look at all this noise. CERN, it's noise. Go outside and find God, Go outside and find the answers. The answers are within, dear friends. That's all CERN is about. All it is a mechanism of mind control to teach you that man thinking with his left brain technology eventually will have the answers. No cure for cancer yet. Nature has the cure, of course, the healing cure. But what do they proclaim? Well, we haven't got a cure yet. Academia has not found it yet, but keep giving us money, because there's a lot of cancer research people out there. We need money, but we're researching, and one day we're going to find the cure. For sure. Noise. That's all it is, guys. Noise. Because they know that vitamin C cures cancer. Massive doses of vitamin C cures cancer. They know that apple pips cure cancer. Apricot kernels cure cancer. Cannabis oil cures cancer. They know that. But what they prefer is noise. Listen to the noise. Be distracted. Noise. This politician just said something. Listen to what he said. This scientist is claiming something. Listen to what he says. This pastor is telling you that the Pentecostal church is the best one. Listen to him. They don't care what you listen to. They don't care. They just put all of these... The power elite of just pumping money into this CERN, religions, science, politicians, pumping fiat currency by the ton into them to keep their fictions alive and the truth away from our eyes, dear friends. We have the truth now. It's syncretism. It's back and it's here to stay.
Santos. Great answer. Again, it comes from this world of consensus reality. And I always try and push that for people to look that up. Princeton University does a great paper on consensus reality. And the first time I heard that was from our brother Jordan Maxwell, from an old lecture that he gave on consensus reality. And what that does is they take all the power away from us that we've already had all along, just like the religion does it, the consensus science does it, and basically consensus reality is all based on belief. And thanks again, Santos, for answering that question.
Yeah, spot on, and thanks for giving us the right word to describe that that's going on. Consensus reality, and the scriptures tell you, do not follow the crowd for evil purposes. Do not be a crowd follower. Pay no attention to them, guys. It's all noise. There is only noise in this world, only noise. And it's polluting your mind. Go within, go within. Meditate, guys. Clean your temples. Go within. Silence the thinking and listen to the silence. All answers are there.
Indeed, absolutely. Well, I don't know if there are more questions.
That should do it anyway. We can save them for next week. We've done it pretty much of 2 hours. That's plenty. We've got Sunday now, so it's only 2 days away. Now, I'll think about Sunday, folks. What I might do is part 3 of electricity, or leave it till the week after. What I might do is I might actually do another special show on this eclipse, because hopefully my computer will be working, and all the stuff that I left out I can add in Sunday's show. How does that sound?
Oh, for me sounds brilliant.
To me.
Yeah, let's do that. And then we'll do electricity part 3 the week after that, okay?
Wonderful. Okay, so
let's do March tetrad solar eclipse, whatever you've called this show. Let's do part 2 in 2 days' time, because I want to add more information. What I want to do is join it to the science of astrology and explain how everything begins in Aries. So the 20th of March, the start of Aries, the true equinox this year, coupled with a solar eclipse, one that only happens every 15 million years or 500,000 years, depending on which aspect you're looking at. If you read Before It Is News, that article there, you will learn about that. But to think, dear friends, that in 2 days' time we can discuss what all of this means. Why is Aries the Lamb of God, and why is Aries the hero, the high ram, Re Atum, Atum Ra, Amun Ra? It's all about Atum and Ra, and it's all about Aries and this beautiful, beautiful sign that begins everything. Everything starts in Aries, guys. So let today, the 20th of March, be the first day of the rest of your life. Let it be good. Don't let anyone deter you from this resolution and this intent that you have created to be better, to live in a better world, and to only have better. We deserve it. Why? Why are we standing down and accepting what the power elites have created in their consensus reality world, where everything is upside down and wrong? Why would we tolerate that, guys? Let us stand. Whether they pull a bullet in your head or not, whatever they do, stand. Die standing. Do not die on your knees. Because the next life will not accept you as a hero.
Powerful. That was powerful, brother.
absolutely. Well said, Santos. Well said. Beautiful. So, well, Joseph, thank you very, very much for joining Santos today. Much appreciation.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, everybody. And we'll see you in a couple of days.
See you on Sunday, Santos. Wonderful.
See you, Santos.
So, good night, everyone.
Okay.